Well, hello, hello. This is Rose RCG Creations. How are you doing? Bringing to you a bone broth. We're making bone broth because today was Christmas. We're home from the partying with family, which was wonderful. And I got 3 carcasses, 2 from Thanksgiving and 1 from today's turkey dinner that we had today. So there's 3 carcasses in the oven. And what you do is you put your oven at 425 degrees. You set your timer for 15 minutes. At the end of 15 minutes, rotate the meat so both sides get a little toasty. And then set the alarm for 15 more minutes. So it's a total of 30 minutes. Then you take it out. And because it's hot, if you can, have your roaster pan. Either do it in the oven, or if you have a electric roaster pan, do it that way. And if you don't have that, you can always put it in a crock pot. But because the meat's hot, make sure that the water, the liquid, and whatever it is that you're cooking is already hot too, so it doesn't have any reaction of the hot meat going into that cold water or room temperature water. Okay? Then you cook it. I personally like to roast mine on an electric roaster because we have a Nesco Millenium roaster, and I keep it at 200 degrees for a solid 12 to 18 hours. If timing works out, I like to do 24, but if it doesn't, I'm good to go with, it's roughly 6:15 right now, and since tomorrow's a holiday for me, we're off, hubby and I are off, so we're not getting up early. So when I get up, I'll unplug the roaster pan, turn it off and unplug it, let it cool down a little bit, get myself ready, get dressed and showered, the whole shebang stuff, and then I'll get ready to process it. But I want to bring you from step by step. But today's method is, I've always done it before, just get the bones, and here's some extra bones. Here's another tray that I'm doing. And these are a ham bone, another type of a beef deer bone, got some ribs, got some chicken legs, some chicken bones, chicken carcass, and a lot of these have a lot of meat on them. A lot of them don't, but that's okay because I want to bake that meat. And I did this once before, but I didn't videotape it because I wanted to make sure it turned out good. But it's like, okay, we got light and day. Just put this in your roaster pan. Great broth. Great stock, whichever one you want to call it, depending on what all you do with it. But if you roast your meat, both sides, and then can finish your normal process until you do the broth, you will notice the huge difference in the flavor of your broth or your stock, whatever it is that you're making, with the baked meat, bones. Okay? So anyway, this is why I'm going to bring in this. It's not really a duplicate because this is my first time videoing making broth with baked meat bones. That's what basically this video is about. So anyway, I'm going to show you. I'm going to open my oven. And you might be able to hear all the little sizzling of the meat. Let me turn my camera so I can see that I'm in focus and I'm in frame. See that? There's 3 pieces of turkey carcass. And because the bones are sticking out so much right now, I didn't have room to put 2 trays. So I was hoping to get these in 2 trays, but I didn't have room for it. So this is going to have to be in 2 batches. So I'm still waiting for my timer to go off to rotate the meat so both sides of the meat get to cook properly. Then they'll go out into the hot roaster. Then I'll put these into the oven. And then I'll do the same thing, repeat the same steps. 15 minutes, rotate the meat. Another 15 minutes, take it out, put it in my roaster. So between these 2 roasters, I'm hoping to have about 20 to 30 jars. I'm hoping to have that much jars. And because if we're empty nesters, we're going to have mostly wide mouth. Actually, not wide mouth, regular mouth, because this is broth. I like to do that in regular broth. I like to save my wide mouths for stuff that has big chunks of food in pint jars, because sometimes when we're doing like mashed potatoes or a vegetable dish, instead of using water, that's what you use your broth for, because it brings you so much more flavor in that item. And that's the whole reason for doing the broth. Also, like if you're doing a stew or soup, and with it being winter, stews and soups are good, and they ask you to bring water, but instead of using water on your recipe, you use your broth. So I am going to have a couple of quarts, but I'm mostly going to concentrate on pints, just because we'll be using the pints more than we do the quarts. But we'll have both sizes, pints and quarts of broth. And so we'll bring you back to that next phase, which is going to be, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm just repeating the same steps with this pan of meat as I am with that one. I'll bring you back where we get done, because I want to make this, I'm trying to still stay within my 15-minute time limit I give myself. Is just stick it in the roaster pan, and then it's going to simmer all night long. Now, I personally do like to stir my meat about every 2 to 3 hours. So between now and bedtime, I'll set my timer and I'll stir my meat and the broth and the water and everything in my roaster pan to make sure that it's enough stirring. Okay, I just personally like to stir it. Okay, then when I go to bed at night, when I'm done, it stays there till the next morning. Stir it, turn it off, unplug it, and then I wait for it to cool down a little bit so I can work with it. And then I strain all my meat and my veggies, because I do put leftover celery, leftover carrots, whatever veggies that I have. I do a little bit of my onion skins, not a whole lot. I usually do put in a full quart roaster. I'll put it in the description box what size roaster that I have, or I may just do a pop-up. I forget what size it is, but I know I have it written down. Typically I put 2, sometimes 3 bay leaves, and 1/4 of a cup of apple cider vinegar. The rest is just water, and the rest is just the meat, the bones, and veggies, and that's it. But I just can't explain to you how much difference the flavor is when you bake your meat bones prior to put them in to make your broth. Anyway, we'll bring you back in that next phase, okay? Okay, here's all the meat of both of those trays. And oh, my camera is charging, so I can only go this far. There's pieces of celery. Got some peppercorn in here. Again, I put apple cider vinegar. Oh, there's a bay leaf down there at the very end. There's 2 of the bay leaves in there. Celery. I didn't have any carrot scraps. I thought I did, but I didn't. And I think I have some fresh. I'll have to look in the fridge if I do. I'll just chop up some fresh carrots and toss them in there. But other than that, that's all I ever really do is apple cider vinegar. For this size quart pan, it's about 1/4 of a cup of apple cider vinegar. Oh, actually, no, take that back. It's 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. As much vegetables, and as you can see, let me grab a piece, see if I can show you. Okay, those are just pieces of celery and stuff. But I use the end of the bottom half, where the core is at, the leaves, and anything that is kind of yucky or bruised, I do cut that off, because this is still food that I'm going to eat, and I don't save any of the bruised items on any of my vegetables, okay? I do cut that part off. I just say like the tips of the carrots, both ends of the carrots, any carrot peelings, because sometimes I'm just peeling carrots. I'll save my peelings. And you always, always, always want to thoroughly wash all your vegetables. Wash them, dry them, pat dry them before you put them in a freezer bag, so you don't get as much ice from freezer burn, because who knows how long it's going to be in the freezer. But put that, and you set it, like I said earlier already, on your timer, and you're all good to go. So we'll see you tomorrow for this next phase, which would be all the bones should practically fall apart. And again, I will every 2 hours turn and rotate the meat, just to rotate it all to make sure it's all underwater. And then tomorrow morning, clean it all out, take all the meat out, and get ready for the bone broth to pressure can. We'll see you in the next phase. Alrighty, we are back. This is the last phase. I went ahead and took off all the bones and the meat, and I put it through a mesh strainer twice. Actually, took it back 3 times. And then I put it in the fridge to gel, all the fat to gel. And then I took out most of a few hours later, After it all gelled, I scooped out the gel of all the fat that rose to the top that got hard. And then I strained it all again one more time. And then I poured them into my individual jars. And then I pressure canned it for 20 minutes. Pints are 20 minutes, quarts are 25. Pressure canned them. And I ended up with 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15. There's 9. There's 12 there. 3 over there. And on that side over there. And I also pressure canned after this batch 5 wide mouth pint jars of raw turkey. Okay, we have so much turkey from last time, it was not worth doing it again. And I did want to do another video because I already have a video out. In fact, I'll try to remember to put a link to that turkey video for pressure canning. For those of you who really would love to see a more step-by-step pressure canning, I already have a couple of those. I think 2 of them already on my website, on my site, on my YouTube channel. But if not, let me know. Post it in the comments. I'll be happy to do another step-by-step because this is winter. This is just, December 27th. Well, actually, yeah, it's 12:30, so it's time for me to go to bed because I got to go to work tomorrow. It's December 27th, and I know I will be canning more because, number one, I like to do some canning because the heat helps me with the heat from the stove, from the canner, because that's a big canner. And it helps me keep down on my central heat for those few hours that I'm doing all this, because from the beginning to end, it is, pressure canning is a little bit of a process. So anyway, let me know in the comments if you'd like to do that, but if not, thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next video. I'm not going to be in it because I'm in my PJs, because I'm pooped and I'm ready for bed. We thank you so much. We'll catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.